Hi, this is Amy Fulmer. I am Diamond Leader with doTERRA, US Founder 2.0, and I am so excited to be sharing our compensation plan with you. I actually looked into a lot of companies. I was at the top of a different company and chose to walk away from everything I had built for 8 years. And I just felt called to share and create more freedom, more time freedom, financial freedom. Those are the two main things that I just felt like I did not quite experience where I was at, even though I loved the company so much. So, okay, let me come down here. So that there it is right there. Perfect. Okay. So here is the build guide, and you can actually just Google this. If you just Google doTERRA US build guide, make sure you do the US because we're in a lot of countries. And I just scrolled down. We're a few pages. We're on page 4. And I wanted to share some of the things that are really amazing and that really stood out to me as I looked into different companies that really set doTERRA apart from anything else that I looked into. So one of the number one things I was looking for when I was looking into a lot of different companies was, what is your retention like? How many of your people doing the business, how many of your customers are continuing to order on a regular basis? And that I saw was so important because in what I was doing, it was a new sale almost every month it was a new sale. Very few people, even the people doing the business, would even order monthly, right? Unless they were really active. And so I realized, oh my goodness, if all of my customers, imagine if they ordered every month, like what my volume would be in my organization. And I had, my volumes were 650, 700,000, and that was all mostly new sales every month. So one of the key things with doTERRA, 65% of people who ever sign up with an account, whether that's someone to do the business or whether it's someone just as a customer, will choose to reorder within 3 months. Isn't that amazing? Like that is really, really incredible. It's about 80% will order again within a year. And what's really unique in doTERRA as well is that most of the company is actually all customers. 82% of people in doTERRA are just customers ordering for the sake of the product alone because it meets a need for their family and it's something that they can afford. That is really important. And then 9% of people who've ever signed up to do the business, as it's called a wellness advocate, they they've never even enrolled anyone. So they're basically a customer too, right? So about 90% of people of the volume in my organization now is not from people doing work and being successful in their business. It's from people that need the product and are using it just for the sake of using it. And that is huge because what that provides is much more consistent growth that builds on itself. Like customers that I did a class for 3 years ago when I very first started, they're still ordering every month to this day. Half of those people from that first class that I did. So you can imagine how much that compounds when most of your organization is just customers and how much more stable that is, right? When there's hard times and people are not having success in maybe teaching classes or growing their business, which I really haven't experienced actually. Our business has doubled in the last year. But that's a normal thing in the economy right now. A lot of businesses are down, a lot of companies are struggling. And because most of my customer base and my team and my organization is all those customers that need the products, things have remained really steady and continued to grow. So that's huge. So the other key thing that I was looking for was not just retention of customers, but what is the product like? Is it a niche, or is it something that everybody needs and everybody can use? And that's what I love about doTERRA's products. They apply to everyone. We have the most testing, the most really validity in the industry. And we are in over, let's see, 28 international markets. We've been around for almost 15 years now, and we are almost a $2.5 billion company with no debt that is privately held. That was one of the other key things I was looking for as I was looking at companies, looking at compensation plans is this company privately held? Are they owned by an investment firm? Because when a company is beholden to investors, they don't care as much about the leaders. They care about the bottom line. They care about the dollar, what's going to make us the most money. And when a company is privately held by the founders of that company, they obviously have a lot more, they're invested and they care so much more. It's not all about money. And this just provides a much more stable kind of a company because I was looking for something that was going to be a legacy company. I never wanted to start again. I never wanted to walk away from what I was doing. Wherever I was going, I wanted to be for the rest of my life. And being privately held, I felt was one of those most important things. So, and then our 7 founders have so much experience, between over 150 years experience in direct sales between the 7 of them. So a lot of experience, a lot of perspective. They've weathered, down times, and they really know how to build the company in a sustainable way. That's very, very important. So the other thing that really spoke out to me was the heart of the company. And we'll talk more about that later. But basically, they do so much good through the way they source. They partner and build farmers instead of building large scale farms. And when they do that, the farmers are earning 2 to 7 times as much as before they started partnering with doTERRA. They're going into those communities, often in developing countries, and saying, what are your needs? And they have built dozens of water systems, dozens of schools, dozens of clinics and hospitals. Like, they just finished one that will service over 500,000 people in Somaliland. So super amazing, really, really incredible. So, okay, a little bit diving really deep into the compensation plan now. So, one of the things that I was most excited about when I saw this compensation plan is the way that it's structured for you to really work with just a few key leaders, and you're rewarded for developing and helping those leaders be successful. So this is really important, because where I came from, I was one of the top recruiters every single year, and I had over 200 personal recruits under me. And I was the only person that they had. There was nobody else. It was just me, that I was responsible for them. And as you can imagine, it was really hard to really take care of and have the bandwidth to do all that and do my personal business. And as I got to higher and higher up, my responsibilities grew and grew and grew. And so when I was looking at compensation plans, I was looking for something that, one, rewarded developing leaders. That was one of the biggest problems I saw where I was, that because it was a breakaway model, that means that, when somebody promotes to a certain rank, you make a lot less on their team, and they can break away so far that you don't even get paid on their team anymore, right? And so what I love about doTERRA's compensation plan is there's no breakaway. And in fact, the more leaders you develop, the more you get paid, the more you get rewarded. It's really, really structured to allow you to do that. So instead of having 200 personal recruits that I was working with, at the top, well, not the top rank, at one of the highest ranks in the company, this is a diamond, you have 4 main partners that you're working with. These are each called a leg. Okay, I know it's very different than a lot of other companies, especially if you're in party plans. So
can I jump in really
yeah,
quick? So that
yeah.
would be like a personal.
Yeah, so this would be like a personal recruit right here. Is these 4 people. I like to teach most people that are starting, start with 3, because that's very manageable. Most people can find 3 people that they want to partner with. So we'll look here at this. In fact, let's just look at silver. It means you have 3 personal recruits that are all that you're working with them, right? So every single rank in doTERRA is built on something very simple: launching someone to elite. And all that is, you can see right here, this is an elite. It's 3,000 in team volume. And I do want to point out something. So there's something called PV in doTERRA. PV is the point value of every product. And usually for an oil, it's dollar per point. So it might be $30, 30 PV. If it's a supplement, it might be $35 and 30 PV. If it's a discounted package, that's where you see more of a gap. So 3,000 PV might be $4,000. It might be $3,500. It just depends on what people bought, right? If it was all oils, if they got packages that were discounted. So someone typically, their first month, if they're really putting in 10 to 15 hours a week, they can hit elite their first month. And they basically, about 5 to 6 classes is usually what gets someone to elite. They might be doing stuff online on Zoom. They might be doing one-on-one meeting with people. They can do it however they want. Some people might go and do 15 one-on-ones, and that's how they get to elite. Somebody else might go and do 6 Zoom classes. So however they want to do it, they get to 3,000 in volume, and that makes them elite. So if you are a silver leader, that means you have 3 personal recruits that are reaching the rank of elite that month. So they all have at least 3,000 PV in volume, and that makes you silver. Yes.
Sorry. So at elite, you don't actually have to have any builders.
Yes,
right?
elite. Yeah,
can just be customers.
Just customers, if you'd like. And we do want to teach you to structure and only put customers on your 3rd line, which I'll show you what that means. But yeah, elite is just your own order counts as well. So say you buy $500 worth of stuff because you want to try a lot of things, that counts towards that 3,000 in volume. And then you're going to help 3 people do that same thing, and then that makes you a silver. So And you can see the average incomes here. These are actual statistical averages based on the earnings disclosure from doTERRA. So these are real numbers. This isn't anything that's like made up. It's like these are based on the actual things from the system, from the computer of what people have actually made. So on average, you can see here a silver is earning $2,500 in a month on average. And most of that is residual income. They might have 500 from their sales, of new people that signed up that month, new customers. But on average, they're making about $2,500. A new silver, this is all the silvers in the company. So anytime you hit a rank for the first time, you're obviously going to be making a lot less than someone who's been there for years, right? So a new silver might be making $1,000, $1,200, just if they're brand new. So, okay, you can see the next rank.
Can I ask one more
Yes.
question?
Yep.
What would be a comparable to like Norwex? What would be a
Yes.
comparable to
So if you're
silver?
looking, for example, the Norwex compensation plan, a silver would be like a sales leader, I feel like. That means they have 9,000 in volume under them. Each of these is 3,000, and they've helped develop 3 people to launch, basically. So I feel like that's pretty comparable. If you look down here at the bottom, this is the average length of time in the company, statistically based on the real numbers of what is taken people to get to those ranks. So you can see elite, the average time is 3 months. That's because there's people who don't really go, they don't put in 10 or 15 hours a week, right? They might do 5 hours a week. The average time to get to silver is 18 months. I've had lots of leaders on my team launch to silver their first month. So this is based on people that they might not really be doing the business, so eventually get there in 2 years or whatever. But most people, if you're really working the business, they might get there in 1 to 6 months is more typical for someone that's really building their business. Yeah.
Sorry, one more
Yep.
thing. So, and then if you have, like, say you have two elites that have 4,000 and
Yep.
one elite that has 2,000, if you're enrolling people as customers, you can place them.
Yes, that's a great point. So let's go back to this example of the silver. So say each of these 3 personal recruits all launch and they all hit 3,000, but this one only gets to 2,000, right? You could also be doing your own classes and hosting classes and getting customers of your own. And you would place those customers under this one leader here who didn't get to 2,000 to help her get to 3,000, and then you're a silver. So this is one of my favorite parts of the compensation plan because I'm never doing anything that just benefits me. Everything that I do is helping my leaders to grow. And it's so synergistic. We're working together. It allows it to be so that as you get higher up in the compensation plan, your workload really does get less. And your leaders become more self-sustaining, and you don't have to do your own classes. When you're first launching up to the rank, I would say, of platinum, maybe even diamond, you're going to be doing your own classes, especially up to gold. You'll be doing a lot of your own classes as well with hosts and yourself. But once you start getting into platinum and diamond, most of what you're doing is helping your leaders with their events, whether they're online or in person. So your own work, if you're enrolling people or signing up customers, that's what enrolling means, is signing up a customer or someone that wants to do the business. You are placing those people underneath your partners to help them. Now, of course, we want to work in integrity, right? So I always teach my team, never ever put someone under someone that is not working themselves, right? That is just not the law of the harvest, right? We want people to be investing and working, and then they're rewarded. So if someone, stops building, I'm not going to place my people under them, right? I want them to be taken care of by that person. And this is what allows me to have freedom because I'm going to put those customers under my leaders. It's going to help my leaders, and they're invested to help those people as well. And so it gives them added support where it doesn't all just go to me, which is so freeing and so amazing. So okay, so that's the rank of silver. Average time to get there is 18 months, 1 to 6 months, maybe a year, depending on how much you're working. What I've seen on my team. So, okay, gold means you have 3 premiers, and you can see a premier means they have 5,000 in volume, with at least 2 legs or personal recruits that have at least 2,000, and then 5,000 between all of them, including their own order. So if a gold has 3 personal recruits that all are the rank of premier, so they have 5,000 in volume, 5,000 at least, and 5,000 at least, split right between those 2 legs at least, then they're going to be the rank of gold. So one of the most exciting parts of the compensation plan that I'm going to bring up now is doTERRA has something called the global bonus share pools. So basically, as a leader in doTERRA, I get a share in the global profits of the company. I'm going to tell you this because I'm going to point out what these amounts are as we're looking at these ranks, but this is really significant. And as I was looking at companies, this is honestly probably one of the very top things that made doTERRA stand out above anything else I had looked into. Because if you are looking at a compensation plan and maybe you're looking at the numbers and you're seeing, oh, they have people at the top making $1 million. How many people are making that? First of all, is my question. Um, and then how long did it take them to get there? And were they some of the original people in the company, right? Like, has there anybody that's come out of the last few years that's able to earn that is my question. And pretty consistently across any company I looked into, the answer was no. Like, unless you got in the beginning, you were not in that group at the top earning $1 million a year. And most companies, there might have been, 10 people there, 20 people there. So this is exciting. So because of the global share bonus program, when I come into the business right now and start to build and reach different ranks, I get to benefit from the last 15 years of work that all the leaders have done, and I get a share in those profits. So it's so much more likely for me to make much more life-changing income because of that global share bonus. And I'll share what they are and you'll understand why. So there's the gold. On average, they're earning $5,587 a month. Um, and the average time to get there is a little over 2 years. That's pretty typical, I would say. I've had people get there in a month. I've had people get there in a year. 2 years is pretty average, I would say. So, okay, platinum is the next rank, and that means you just have your 3 personal recruits that are all reaching the rank of silver, right? So we have 9,000 here, 9,000, 9,000. So 27,000 would be the minimum volume, and the average earnings of a platinum is 10,239 a month. Average time to get there about 3 years. So just to give you guys an equivalent, I feel like the ranks are pretty comparable to Norwex. I don't know as much rank names and other compensation plans. I do know Young Living, the ranks are not comparable at all. Like their volume minimums are huge to reach these ranks. Like doTERRA is like a fraction of what's required to get those. So those don't really compare very well. But with Norwex, a gold is about like an ESL. And then I would say a platinum is about like a red jacket. And then the average income there, remember that's average. So a new platinum might be $6,000. And then all the platinums in the company, that's what they make on average. So there's some make a lot more, some make a little less. So platinum is really exciting because there are over 1,000 people who've reached the rank of platinum. 1,000 people averaging that earnings per month, right? But it gets even better. Just wait. So, okay, so I am currently a diamond, very close to the next rank of blue diamond. And that just means I have one other personal recruit I brought on and I've helped them build silver. And then the average diamond is earning over 17,000 a month. Average time to get there, 3.5 years. And that's pretty average. I mean, I personally know several people in the last year or two who've built a diamond in a year. But average is 3.5 years. So you can definitely do it faster. There's actually people I know who have built in a month or 3 months who built super fast. They came on with a lot of partners. So it just depends on your influence and how hard you're working and the leaders that you bring on. So, okay, let me show you these last two ranks, these are the most exciting ones. So this is Blue Diamond. I'm almost to the rank of Blue Diamond. I'll be there really soon this year. And that means you have 5 personal recruits that all are at the rank of gold, right? So remember that's 15,000 in volume on each of those legs. Now remember, these volumes, like it starts to build as everybody is sharing and teaching because customers are getting their own account. Many of them, I would say from a class, usually 80 to 90% will sign up. If for an in-person class, online it might be 50 to 70%, depending on the class. And then out of those, maybe half will choose to order monthly. And then maybe another, 15 to 20% will order a couple times a year. So, and then out of those, you might have half to a third that will always keep ordering monthly. Some will try it out for a few months and then they'll just order sometimes. So that starts to compound. So as you're doing classes, you're not starting from scratch again every month. You are starting to build those volumes. And this provides a lot of time freedom because I was really surprised my first year. I had 2 months that first year that I really took off most of the month and only did about 5 hours, maybe a week. And I still got paid about the same amount because it was truly a residual income from all the work we had done previously, right? Because most of my income is not based on that month's selling. It's based on all the orders that are coming in automatically from all the work we've done before. So you see the difference, how that compounds so much more and is so much more stable. So okay, so you guys, oh, and I didn't tell you. There's over 1,000 people who've reached the rank of platinum. There's also over 1,000 people who've reached the rank of diamond. So that is amazing. There are 1,000 people that average $17,000 a month. 1,000, like so crazy, right? And that was one of the other questions I had as I was looking into companies is tell me like how many people are actually earning what? Show me your earnings disclosure. What are the real numbers and how many people are there at those ranks? I was just looking at a different company. I will not say the name. But they have a great compensation plan. But I looked at their earnings disclosure from 1 year and it looked really bad. Like, and it's a company a lot of people are joining, and especially they're leaving other companies and going to this company, which it's a great company. But I was shocked because I looked at their earnings disclosure and I could see that most of their top earners were earning like 227,000, which is not, I mean, that's similar to Norwex. It's not anything to speak of. And then they had one top rank where they averaged like 400,000. But the next year I looked at their earnings disclosure and then it said that their top rank, all those lower numbers went away and it showed it was like $1 million. And I'm like, what happened in a year? Like, I don't think that that's possible that that could really happen. And as I looked closer, they had combined all the categories of those top 4 or 5 different ranks and brought them all into one because they have one earner who's earning a ton and his average brings that up hugely. And so it looks a lot better on paper. So it's a really good idea to look at, okay, really though, what are they aren't showing the income and disclosure of all the individual ranks. And that's what makes their earnings disclosure look better that following year. I'm glad I found the previous years. So anyway, so just knowing the number of people and what they're actually earning at those different ranks is really, really key because that speaks to the power of the compensation plan. How many people can actually do this? This was one of the biggest reasons why I left was it killed me that my leaders that worked so hard, that were so amazing, were nowhere near financial freedom income. And they were amazing. Like they had been in the top 10 people for things and they were still earning maybe 50 to 80,000 a year with their sales and maybe 100,000. But again, most of that was from their sales that they couldn't ever stop doing that if they didn't want to take a big pay cut. And so I wanted to find a model where lots of people could succeed and lots of people could have time freedom and earn financial freedom. And when I saw this, I was like, this is the best one I've ever seen. This is amazing. And it's because of the product, because of the structure, the company, like all the things just come together just right to make it amazing. So, okay, so that's the diamond. There's over 1,000 people at the rank of diamond. At blue diamond, the average income per month is 41,813. The average time to get there is about 5 years. And I've been in it for 3 years. So just to give you an idea, I know people who've hit it in 2, but the average is 5. And there are over 300 people who have reached the rank of blue diamond. So pretty amazing. And then presidential diamond, the average time to get there, and you can see what their income is made up of, right? Oh, I forgot to tell you the bonuses. I'll come back to that. So you can see a lot of their income is the leadership global bonus share, which I'll tell you what that is. The numbers are in a minute. That's what I was talking about. Unilevel is about, a third to half of their check. And then there's a couple other ways they get paid. That's a small amount of their check. So I'll explain that in a minute. But presidential diamond on average, they have 6 personal recruits that they've worked with that they have helped reach the rank of platinum. And again, that platinum has 3 different partners that are each at silver, right? Which is 3,000, 3,000, 3,000. So they have helped 6 people to do that. And that average income per month is $114,098 per month. Isn't that crazy? There are over 100 people that have reached this rank of presidential diamond. So just looking at doTERRA's earnings disclosure from last year, there was over 2,196 people that earned at least $9,000 a month or higher. So most of our platinums and all of our diamonds, blue diamonds and presidential diamonds at least earned higher than that. Like that is incredible. 2,200. Most companies, there might be 50 people or 100 people averaging that much per month, right? And then the fact that there are so many $1 million earners, so many people earning, 400. Well, this is like what 500. It's over $500,000 a year, close to that. That there's 300 people there, and then there's 100 also at like $1 million, close to $1 million a year or more. So a new blue diamond. I didn't explain let me tell you what the new ranks are. Because again, it's important to understand that. Because again, this is the average of all those in the company. So a new platinum we talked about might be around 6,000. A new diamond might earn around 8 to 10,000, depending on how big their organization is. I think I was pretty close to 10 the first month that I hit diamond. Um, and then, that keeps growing, of course. And the rank or the bonus share pool amount is really amazing. So at the rank of premier, it actually starts if they sign up a customer, if they enroll someone, it's about $150, maybe $180 they'll get as that share in the bonus pool. At silver, it goes up to they will get around that $180 for being silver. And then if they enroll someone, they can also get another share. So, $350, $400 they'll get as a bonus just for hitting that rank on top of all their other earnings. It starts getting exciting at gold. So their global bonus pool share is about $700 or $800 every month that they hit the rank of gold. And that's if they have two people that they sign up, whether it's a customer or builder, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. Then they can earn two extra shares of around $200 each. So they'll be earning around $1,100 to $1,200 if they enroll two people. So they really want to incentivize people at that level still to keep personally enrolling, right? Platinum is their share is around $1,500, $1,600. Every single month is a bonus on top of their earnings from that global bonus pool share. This is where it gets really exciting. At Diamond, it's about $3,500, sometimes up to $3,700. And again, it depends on the profits that month, right? That you get, and it's been very consistent over the last decade. These numbers have not really, if anything, they've gone up a little bit. So that shows it's a very healthy company, and people have very healthy organizations. So as a diamond, you're getting paid all your commissions, which we'll talk about in a minute, but you're getting that bonus on top of all your commissions. That's part of this number right here that you're seeing. As you can see, that green represents what part of the income is from that bonus. And then at blue diamond, and this is significant because this is what compensates for those people that didn't start at the beginning, right? This is what allows everybody to get a share and benefit from what's been created in the company, which is so generous. So a blue diamond will get a bonus of about $12,000. I know, 12,000 every month that they hit that rank of blue diamond. And that's because of they get a share in those global profits. Here's the most exciting one though. So, I mean, the minimum that a blue diamond could make would be, I would say probably about 18,000, 19,000 would be the very minimum if they had like the exact number minimums in their organization, which never happens, right? Of course, you'll have people that really take off and their volumes will be much higher. Some people, they're barely making the minimum, right? So, they're going to be making at least, $18,000, $19,000. A new blue diamond typically is around 20, 21,000, because they usually have some bigger legs. And then a presidential diamond, their share every single month is around $35,000. So the minimum that a blue diamond could make would maybe be, 45 or 50,000 would be the minimum that they could make. And that's what's so significant is when you get to these higher ranks in a company where they don't have something like this, the volumes that are required to have that kind of an income are humongous, right? But because of that global bonus share, like this organization might only be, I think it's like 120 something $1,000. I'd have to do the math again, but it's like 127,000 or something. That's all. Or maybe 136,000. Like you could, if they were all perfectly structured with the minimums, right? Like that's not that much, right? You could get there. You could build an organization that big in a few years. One of my friends just hit this in 3 years. She's a mom with 3 little kids, and she's a sweet Mennonite mama, and she hit Presidential Diamond. So I think we'll be there next year. Like it is, we're getting close to that. And one of my other friends, 2.5 years ago, she's close to that too. So it's just exciting that what you can earn in the long term is really significant. If you're committed to a company and you can develop leaders, I don't know of a company that has a stronger offering in terms of income. And the other question that I always would ask when I was looking at companies is, what do I have to do to get paid? Because so many companies, a lot of their check is tied up in you have to bring on this many new people to get paid this bonus. Or you have to have like so much in sales to get paid your bonus, or you have to have, so many new people doing this to get paid a big chunk of your check. So I was looking for a company that I didn't want any restrictions like that. I wanted to be able to choose in to what level I wanted to work my business. I did not want to be required by restrictions in the compensation plan to have to do all these things to get paid my check. So I was so excited by the answer when I asked that question in doTERRA. All a presidential diamond or any leader has to do to get paid their check on their whole team is have their 100 PV order. That's all. No hoops to jump through, no minimum, like nothing. As long as each of your 6 leaders are platinum or higher and you have your 100 PD order in, you get paid your full check, everything. So that is huge. And that is what allows for that time freedom. And then I can choose in, right? Maybe I feel called to put more into my business, or maybe I want to go and serve a mission or retire or whatever, right? And you can still be making your income, which is huge. So, okay, and the average time to get to presidential diamond, 71 months. So that's, about close to, let's see, close to 6 years. So that's the average time to get there, which is amazing. Like I don't know of a lot of other companies where you could get to earning at least $50,000 to $60,000 a month, minimum in 6 years on average, right? I mean, there's a lot of people that get there sooner. That's incredible. And there are many people earning, a lot more than that. And it's just that's the average of everybody. So, okay, so that's really exciting. It's just amazing how many people there are having success and earning that kind of income. So there we see that's all the leadership bonus pools. That I think is the star of our compensation plan. And what makes it very appealing if you're looking at coming into a company and starting from scratch, like that is the one thing that sets us apart from any other company I've seen. The next part is the level bonus pool. This is also super exciting. Sorry, it's kind of light, but the key thing, as you can see, as you get lower in your organization, the percentages get higher. So on those bottom levels, basically on all your customers, you're placing all your customers on your 3rd level or higher, right? These numbers here, it means if you have 3 people on your front line, 3 personal recruits. Now, what if you have more leaders that want to come on than 3, right? Well, if you want, you could start another leg and build to diamond or blue diamond. You could do 5 or 4. Or like I've had many leaders that I brought on and I have thought, you know what? I don't know that I'm the best one to support them. I think they're going to get more support and it's in their best interest to partner with one of my partners. And so I've had a lot of leaders that I have brought on and I have had them partner with my partners. And that gives me so much freedom because guess what? I'm not the one working with them anymore. They always know they can reach out to me, but the leader that I put them under and give them to, I make sure it's someone they're going to mesh well. That leader works with them. And that allows me to have the time freedom. I'm not having to do classes anymore of my own. I'm helping my leaders and my team do that. And so it's just so amazing that as you get up higher in ranks, you're mainly just doing leader development. You're not doing your own sales and your own classes. You don't need to because you're duplicating your strengths, what you can do to help your team do that. Of course, you can if you want. Like if I'm going for rank, I might do a couple classes so I can help fill in volume. But it's really designed so that as you get higher up, you don't need to keep a personal business going. I mean, I have my customers, but they're under people on my team that can help support them too. So of course they know they can reach out to me if they need. So that's amazing. So you can see like you might only have 3, and then if they each have 3 partners, there might only be 9 people on your 2nd level. And then you're going to start putting your customers on your 3rd level and below. And you can see how that number kind of starts to expand. If everybody does 3, that's what the numbers would be. So like, for example, I used to make 0.5% on my 5th level. And that volume, I mean, it was like I'm trying to think, it was a few $100,000 and 0.5% on that. Like, do you want to do the math? I can't remember what it was. Like, I made like, it would have been like 1,500. And if I had been earning 6% on it, it was like 18,000 or something. Yeah. Like it was crazy the difference on the same volume. And I was like, oh my goodness. So this is huge. This is so exciting. If you can duplicate, if you can develop leaders and you can help people to know how to sell and to bring on customers, like this expands so much. I have had such an advantage in doTERRA. I've been one of the most successful people in the US right now because of my background where I knew how to teach people to book classes and to sell and to do Zoom and to, just having that skill set is not as common in doTERRA because they don't have as much of that as I came to the table with. So it's a huge advantage. So you can see here, you get paid down to your 7th level and you make the highest percentage where you're going to have the most amount of volume, right? Because then all of your partners, they are bringing on people and you just get more and more people as you get lower. There's something called compounding what's the word? It'll come to me later. Well, basically, if there's people down here, doTERRA will always pay out 7 levels on every single order. So if somebody in here doesn't order enough or doesn't qualify to get paid on a level that far down, it bumps up. So it's called dynamic compression. And so, a lot of people, a large part of their check might be from people even lower than that, if they have people in here that aren't all actively engaged, which is amazing, right? Like there's nothing gets like not accounted for or not paid out on, right? Every single order is paid out to 7 levels above it. So, okay, so that's amazing. That's the other most exciting part. Last two parts of the compensation plan, there's this power of three, and this is really just a bonus to help you structure your organization in a way that you're set up for success in the long term. It is one of the fastest ways to grow your income in a really sustainable way. And it is very simple. So I really like to help everyone that's building the business just say, just focus on getting three people and then help your people get three. And it's just simple. It's like, oh, okay, I can do that. It's not that hard. So it's based on having 600 team volume between you and everyone on your front line. So maybe you have a couple more people here. Their orders would count too towards the 600. But you have to have at least 3 people that all have a minimum 100 PV LRP order. What LRP is the loyalty rewards program. This is one of the most genius parts about the compensation plan, the structure of the company. doTERRA rewards their customers for ordering monthly. They can get free shipping if their order's over 100. They can get 10% back on their order at first if it's over 50 PV. Every 3 times that they have that 50, in a month, they have 3 months of 50, it goes up by 5% back in free products. Points where it's just like cash. And it eventually maxes out at 30% back. So if I have a customer that has a 100 PD order, they're actually getting $30 back on that order to use to buy product. A lot of people order 150 or 200. They're getting $60 back on their order. So really, they're not only getting 25% off, they're getting another 30% basically off that they're getting back in product credit points that they can use like dollars on their order. So this is huge. And so it makes it really easy for people to keep ordering and they don't want to ever cancel because then they lose all their, 30% back they built up too. So, but that's what a loyalty rewards order is. It's like a subscribe and save kind of a program. And there's no minimum. So like they could have a 5 PV order if they wanted, and you can switch it out. It doesn't have to be one set thing. You can order whatever you want. So you have to have your own loyalty rewards program order, and it has to be at least minimum 100 PV. And again, remember, all you need to do to get paid is also have that 100 PV order in your cart at all times. And then, if you accidentally forget and take it out, if commissions, there's the fast start bonuses, which I'll tell you about in a minute. These are paid out every week. So if your card is not at 100, you wouldn't get paid out at that bonus, and you'd have to call and say, oh, I messed up. Can you fix that? And they'd fix it for you. So anyway, so just always keep 100 PV in your cart. And then if you help, and I like to do this based off 150, because then it works with only 3 people. If you each don't have 150, you have to have more people for the power free to work out. So we're going to say if this person has 150 in their LRP, 150 PV, and their LRP order, and each of their 3 partners, and again, if they only find 2, they could have somebody fill in there to kind of hold the spot so you can put your customers in the right place. If you each have 150 PV LRP order, then you will get a $50 bonus. And a lot of people that I work with that are leaders will get this like the very month after they start. They'll get their 50 PV. So if each of your partners each find their 3 partners and they all set up their 150 PVLRP order, then you will get a $250 bonus every month that those are all in place. And each of your partners gets a $50 bonus. Now, if you duplicate that one more time and each of their partners gets their 3 people, then you will get a $1,500 bonus. So that's a really significant thing, right? I have a lot of people on my team in their first, in 6 to 10 months, you can be earning this $1,500 bonus. And that's huge, right? Like that's a big chunk of income when you're first starting out. So, and I will say, like I just told you, a lot of times you can put customers down here. So maybe they don't all have 150, but maybe you have 3 that have at least 100, And then you have a few more customers that they might order 60 or 80, and it helps fill in and get to that 600 total that you need between them and everybody on their front line. So this is a really great way to earn income quickly that's very stable. Like I still, 3 years in, I get this every single month. So the next one is the fast start bonus. This is the last one. This is the fastest way, like the name, that you will make income. And it's basically like your sales commission. It works in the same way, except for it's paid on the back end by doTERRA. So a new customer that signs up, you make 20% on anything they buy in their first 60 days. So your customers get the same price as you. I love that. I love being able to tell my friends and family, oh, you can actually just get it at my cost. Just have your own account. It's way easier. And it's like, oh, okay, great. And then it's shipping to their house. They can go in and order whatever they want. It's fabulous. And then that frees me up, right? Because I don't have to always be putting in everybody's orders. They are empowered with their own account. It's fabulous. So, and I just need to show them how to do it at first, and then they're set. So, I will make 20% on whatever they buy. Anybody that I'm signing up, I'm the enroller on them. I'm working with them. I make 20%. So, for example, I'm the enroller on my 3 partners, right? But all of my customers that I put down here, I'm also the enroller on them because I'm the one that signed them up, that helped them get started as a customer, right? So even though they're down here, I'm still making that 20% because I'm the enroller. This is an enroller bonus. Sponsor is the person they're placed directly under. So like this person here, their sponsor would be the person above them. And that's just basically, it means where they're placed is the only thing sponsor means. It means the person right above you. So for the first 60 days, the sponsor doesn't get paid anything on them because it's paid out to the enroller. So I'm making 20% on anything they buy in their first 60 days. Say this someone decides to host a class or share with their mom or their sister and they sign their sister up. Okay, I'm going to make 10% on anything her sister buys in her first 60 days. Then my sweet friend that I signed up, she's going to make 20% on whatever her mom buys in her first 60 days, right? You see that? So say her mom decides to share with her other daughter and she signs up her other daughter. I'm going to make 5% on anything that her daughter buys in her first 60 days. After 60 days, this bonus goes away for that person and they go into the unilevel pool. And then they're a customer that hopefully they're ordering regularly, and I'm going to make 5 to 7% depending on where they're at in my organization. And by then they're very self-sustaining, right? It's just automatic. I'm not really having to do much other work. I might send them a text once a month, right? Or answer a question occasionally. So this is really great because I can help my builders and I can go to classes and help my builders, and I'm still getting paid some for the work I'm doing that night, right? Because I'm getting paid 3 levels down of enrollers. Okay, so that is the compensation plan. I'm just going to show you really briefly the average times, and I kind of mentioned those, but just to give you an example of hours per week, this is what doTERRA has found when they looked at all the numbers and the statistics. People that are working 3 to 10 hours a week, usually they might get to elite. Executive is a rank before elite. Remember, we looked at those premiers. That means they have 2 executive. That's 2,000 in volume. So they might get to elite in 2 to 3 months if they're putting in 3 to 10 hours a week, right? And then premier in 6+ months. If they're at 3 hours, I would say it's not 6 months. But if they're at 10 hours, then it's 6 months. If they're really doing the right behaviors. So, okay. And you can see the average incomes, right, of those levels. 10 to 30 hours per week, you can look at again. Premier in 6 months, gold in 1 to 2 years. And we see those average incomes. And then this one is if we're 25 to 50 hours a week. I feel like 25 is kind of the minimum where you really start to get into a lot more momentum. That's where you can look at gold in 6 to 9 months and diamond in 1 to 3 years. And I feel like that's very realistic, right? If you're doing the 50 hours, you're probably going to do it in a year. If you're doing 25, it might be 3. And again, if you're doing the right behaviors and you're developing leaders. So that is the compensation plan. Those are all the numbers. I just have been amazed at the difference. I have had so much more time freedom, truly. Literally every year I've had multiple months that I have mostly taken off. This summer I went and we went on vacation after vacation, and we traveled from before Christmas till the middle of January. I did not really work at all. We were gone traveling, we were doing things. And it's because, again, it's not because my volume is because of all my team working. My volume is all the work that we have done in the past. And and I just have my 100 PV order. I don't need to keep recruiting. I don't need to keep enrolling. You know, I'll bring on one more partner and I'll be to the top rank. So it's just a lot less of a load. There's so much more synergistic working together. Um, and everybody's supporting each other and everybody's work is helping each other. And it's so beautiful. And what I love most of all is we're sharing a product that really is backed up by literally thousands. There's thousands of studies on PubMed of essential oils, and there's more and more research showing the superiority of doTERRA essential oils over any other brand from multiple universities. There's some great things that happened at the FDA where they showed that. There are many prestigious universities that are using doTERRA essential oils, Harvard, Johns Hopkins, like tons of like, you know, names you recognize. So I love that we're sharing a product that is really changing people's lives and it's making an enormous impact. And I get to spend the time with the customer because I don't have to have 1,000 customers. I only have, I think, I don't know, maybe like 80 customers that I've ever signed up in the last 3 years. And then I have my 5 partners that I'm working with. And so it's just amazing how much more time and how much more freeing that is. And I can really help those customers to make a lifestyle shift. It's not like a one and done sale. It's like, hey, I actually want to help you change your life. I want to help you live a lifestyle that's really going to transform your family and your kids and your posterity, right? I want you to be empowered. I want you to learn. And so much of what I get to do is really helping with that transformation with that, which I love. So thanks for learning and just so excited. I invite you to look further. We have the most amazing team. The support is really, I have never seen anything like it. And we are one of the fastest growing teams in the US. And it's just been an amazing journey. So grateful.